Almost
Friday. Right, definitely. It's almost Friday. you can't be mad at that. Now, you guys probably see a nice little book on the chair where you guys could use to follow with us through today. I'm going to be sharing a lot of good information about finance and breaking it down in very simple terms, right? One of the good things that you're going to hear about a company that's doing some amazing things. And a lot of people don't even know about it. As a matter of fact, I think the lack of knowledge about what we're doing is so inappropriate. Like, this should be televised, this should be highly pushed amongst many politicians or a lot of their town elected personnel, right? And just a little bit about who I am. I've been with this company a little over 4 years, right? Before WFG, I actually used to work 3 jobs. I used to work at UPS 3:45 in the morning, and then I would go to AMP. I'm not sure. All right, Musa, please mute. The other thing is that I used to work at AMP from 9 to 5, and then I will go from there from 6 to 11:30 at a pack-on at a restaurant. So I used to work from 3:45 to 11:30 at night every day. I did that for 5 years until I got a phone call from my cousin. And you ever get a phone call from that one family member you never talked to in years? And you're wondering like, oh God, who died now, right? Because it's always those times, they call you like, yo, did you hear such and such died? And then, especially in the Jamaican culture, that's where we normally get phone calls. So he called me up and he's like, cuz, I know you have business background. I want you to come check out this thing that they saying it could change my life. And at the time, he was a manager at Longhorn, and now he has his own business now too, thanks to this company giving him all the resources. But he used to work at Longhorn as a manager, so he's like, I don't know, all these pyramid things out there, he's skeptical. So I said, all right, sure. I took off one of the nights, and I didn't get to go to UPS or the restaurant, so that way I could make it down, just like you guys are here today at 7, right? Came down, I hear the guy, and I was like this the whole time. I was like, yeah, right. Where they gonna bust out the lotion and potion, right? I'm waiting for what's the catch. So I sat there, and I remember the 2 things he said to me that really stood out for me. He said, 1, you must qualify. I was like, qualify for what? I thought this was education, right? And he's like, yes, the information is free. But what's the use of having information if you can't apply it? Or better yet, you're not in a position to apply it. So I was like, okay. And he's like, if you do get qualified and you're able to be in a position to do that, I could never fire you. So that's why we have to choose specifically who we want, right? It's not that anybody can be a part of it, but it's a matter of, do I want to spend the time to mentor and develop you, right? And that's one of the key things that I love. So here I am. I fired all 3 of my bosses, right? I'm the father of 5, just to give you the seriousness of this business. We have multiple locations, right? And I'm only 29 years old, right? So age is not really the issue, it's just desire. If you really want to make a change and you really want to be open to where you could actually excel in something, and here's the thing, I'm not selling nothing. All I'm doing is educating. So I know every night when I go to bed, I feel fulfilled, right? Because I'm doing something that's going to change families' lives. Regardless if they qualify for the opportunity or not, they're going to get the information no matter what. Because our goal is to educate 1 million families before 2020, right? That's the bigger goal. But if someone wants an opportunity, they can get one. Now, the good thing about our company is that we don't just work, right? You ever go to some place and all they do is work, work, work. You work, 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 and you feel like, man, when am I going to feel appreciated, right? So we have a lot of that. I like to say we have too much of it sometimes, right? We just came back from Hawaii. We're going to Vietnam. They just came back down. Well, you remember the hurricane just destroyed Key West. We were supposed to be in Key West about 2 weeks ago, but we couldn't go because Key West is no longer Key West, right? It's probably just Key only. It's missing the West right now. All right. So one of the good things is that we do a lot of traveling. We do a lot of recognition. I always say all you have to do is participate. Participate and qualify for the trips. You and your family go on a trip on the expense of the company. And I think that's the greatest thing. That's why I love educated. You can see why I'm smiling on a Thursday night, right? Because I know if the more people I help is the more it's going to get me close to qualify for many of the trips. And that's one of the things that we give people the opportunity to travel, right? I'll tell you, the first time I went to Hawaii this year, amazing. If you've never been to Hawaii, put that on your bucket list. It is a beautiful island, beautiful. I was in Waikiki, on the Waikiki beach in Honolulu, and I must tell you, it's one of the most beautiful islands. Personally, maybe it's because it's the only one I've been to, but I personally like it. All right, I was literally about 2 blocks away from the beach. I used to go to the meetings in the morning that we had on meetings for a couple of days, and all I did was wear flip-flops. I wear flip-flops to the meeting. From the meeting, I went to the beach. They were like, "Where you going, Keyon?" "To the beach." All right, every day. And we have lunch breaks, I'm at the beach. If you ever want to find me, you can find me at the beach. That's where I was. I had my swim trunks in my book bag, and I was right there. All right, I stayed in there. I was like Nemo. So, just to show you a little bit about how we travel and give you an idea of some of the great trips that we have been on, I'm just going to show you a quick overview of it. Miss Ira, could you hit the light for me, please?
Sure.
It's not just a business, it's actually a family.
Trip. It would not have happened without WSP. Thank you everyone. We'll make it all of them.
We want to build an organization for family, because I believe that when you have a great family, you're going to have a great business and you have a great future.
Shabu shabu.
is just so strong, and seeing everybody here, we know that we're doing something right. And you know what? WSB rocks.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is.
That's how we travel. And the reason why we travel like this, because we work hard. And you know what? Families deserve it. Everybody deserves to travel like that and live like that. You ever hear people talk about, oh, the American dream? In today's day, it's very hard to talk about the American dream. We don't know what the American dream is. We're really living in an American nightmare right now. Because what's going on with finances is one of the most lacked conversation, and I hate the fact that we live in one of the financial capitals and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Nobody want to share information about it, and if they have to share the information, it has to come with a price, right? And I look at that and I say that's wrong. So just a little bit about who our company is. How many of you guys ever heard of Aegon before? Ever heard of Aegon? Well, Aegon, A-E-G-O-N, is one of the top 10 financial companies in the world. Been around since 1844. Actually have multiple locations in over 20 different countries. Aegon is actually one of the articles that was wrote about us by the Wall Street Journal. They said that we're too big to fail. All right. Now, Aegon wanted to make a presence in North America. So they bought a company that probably most people have heard of called Transamerica. Right? Now, Transamerica was founded by A.P. Giannini in 1904. Now, in 1906, an earthquake came that destroyed San Francisco. I don't know if you guys remember that one. Literally destroyed it. The earthquake, then the fire, and all these things destroyed there. Well, the founder named A.P. Giannini literally set up a desk on a shipping deck and literally hand out loans with just a handshake, no collateral needed. That was so profound and never heard of in the banking system. Now, on top of that, he then also backed the bonds against the Golden Gate Bridge that we all learned to love today. It wasn't for our company, that bridge wouldn't have finished production because it was a recession while it was happening. On top of that, Mr. Walt Disney. It was Transamerica that funded Walt Disney his first major loan to put on his first major film. Because nobody believed him. Remember what they used to say about him? He lacked creativity, right? But we trusted him. We saw his greatness. So that's just a few of the things that Transamerica have done for families and people all the time. We don't look at the people now. We look at what they're going to become, right? Because you have to see people's future self. And if we don't understand that, we will never give people the right opportunity. Now, the other thing is that Aegon made another purchase. They bought another company called World Financial Group, which is a marketing and distribution company. The division that I work in is called World System Builder. What we do is focus on financial education because we believe that families need this information. It shouldn't be a price tag. It shouldn't be how much you're worth. It shouldn't be how much is in your pocket. It should be about your desire that you want to learn. All right? I always say give people the opportunity to tell you no. All right? You're not looking for a yes. Not everybody's going to tell you yes. Give everybody the opportunity to tell you no. At the end of the day, you can't say no one didn't come and tell you, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give her opportunities for everybody else to tell us no. All right? But at the end of the day, we can't point the finger and say it's the system's fault. Because you know what? There's a company here that's trying to do that. But before I get started, I just want to know, what are some concerns that you guys may notice that's going on out there that people have when it comes to finance? What are some of the concerns that you guys see out there? What do you think, Britt?
Lack of concern. I don't feel like when it comes to finance, I don't think a lot of people treat it as something important. They just look at whatever, I won't pay this, or it'll go away within a certain time. It's not like that. There's not any real penalties to not being on point with your finances. I know a lot of people like that. They're like really careless.
Like no accountability, right?
None. They're like, oh, I don't care if this doesn't get paid. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Right.
Just wait
That's
until
like,
next month.
Exactly.
Right.
Just wait until next month.
That's going to be on your credit score for a while.
Exactly. That's a long
Right.
time, you know.
How about you, Sonia? What do
They
you feel?
just don't care. There's no knowledge out there, like you said.
It's just blind.
It's just, yeah, exactly.
We see it. It's happening. And you know what's crazy? We saw it happen in 2001 and 2008. Mm-hmm. And even the ones that thought they had the knowledge, they couldn't stop what was coming. They can't. Because if you don't know where to avoid things like that, that's the biggest problem. Nobody know how to avoid them. How to avoid the obstacles that will come, the challenges that we will face. Definitely. If your money is tied to anything out there, you got to look at what is safe. Right? What is safe? So the first thing I'm going to talk about as far as concepts, right? I think that's missing in today's topic on finance. What is the concepts that we need to use, right? But before I go into some concepts, I'm going to talk about this concept here, the first one. If I would, I have to select the page. All right, this circle, right? This circle right here represents your entire income, right? I've had one of my clients, they always joke around and they always say, yeah, zero, I don't have none. And I said, no, it doesn't represent zero. It actually represents your entire income. And we got to break it down as a whole. Where's my money now and where is it going? So now I know 50% or more is going into lifestyle, period. The food, clothes, rent, mortgage, all these things are necessities. You need these things. I hate when I hear these financial professionals or so on, they like to come in and talk about, if you cut back on eating, what you want me to starve? Right? Oh, what you want me to drive a car with 2 wheels? Like, how am I going to cut back? I'm trying to have more. Why don't you talk about how I can get more of it? That's the dream. That's what we want to accomplish. Don't tell me I need to cut back. I'm talking about how can I get more lifestyle? I want to take 4 trips a year. How can you get me to that? Right? That's what we're here to do. We want to enhance this. Because what I've realized that right now in the time that we live in, we're stuck in the working, no traveling. That's where we're at right now as a country. Where people are looking to get more than 1 job. I was one of them. I remember it used to be cool, right? You want to impress a girl? When I was young and stupid, I used to be like, man, I got 3 jobs. She's like, oh my God. My friend be like, I got 2. And she's like, you got 3. You got more money, right? Because the more jobs you're supposed to have, the more money you're supposed to have, right? Until it's not necessary. You pay more taxes. But I didn't know anything, right? I used to think overtime money was good money until the taxes snacked up some of it. I was so upset, right? So these were things that we didn't know about. So when I look at this, I said, okay, who's taking the other half of my money now? Well, Uncle Sam, the uncle we never met. Taxes. 25% or more are going into taxes. And that's a major issue, right? Now, that 25+%, that's me being nice. Because right now our tax is at 39.6%, right? How about the fact that debt? A lot of us, it said the average person carry around 30% in debt. Student loans, mortgage, you know the mortgage is a debt until the house is paid off, right? Car loans, personal loans, those credit cards, right? These things are debt, and these things can hurt you. And if we don't learn how to control them, that is the problem that we're facing today. So now, what do you guys think this little pie right here represents? What's missing from this entire equation? I'll give you a hint. It starts with S. Savings. That's right. Savings. And you know what's the number? It says here the average person that is saving is 0 to 5% is saving. 0 to 5%. You know the part that makes me cringe? Sometimes this little vein pop up here when I get really mad. The 0 part. That's what's sad today. And when I look at this survey, if you turn to your book in page 1, right? It's the introduction where it talks about a survey. It says here, according to a recent survey, North America is facing serious financial challenges. I'm not going to talk about Canada, but I'm going to talk about the U.S. The U.S. picture is even gloomier. 33% or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% carry credit card bill debt from month to month. Only 59% of adults say they have savings. Worse, more than half now think it's acceptable to default on their mortgage if they can't afford to pay it. Most of us don't wait to become a statistic to know that we're in trouble. These problems happen all around us. They happen to our own family and our own friends' family. It's ironic that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but we always have money problems. We can work hard all our lives, but still retire poor. We do so much to raise our kids just to see them finish college with a lot of debt. Debt become a way of life. That's the American dream today. Because why? I start sweating. I get very passionate. Excuse me. Right? Debt become a way of life. They got us on this credit system, right? Where we're going to be borrowing other monies at a higher interest rate, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about. So what is it that I do? What is this entire meeting even about? What is it that we're trying to accomplish? Well, as a financial coach, we're teaching people how to cut down taxes on their money legally. We're teaching them how to get out of debt and eliminate it without having to call someone and talk about, let's consolidate my debt. Because consolidation actually could hurt your credit score, right? But if you pay it up in full, it's actually a good credit report because you paid it up in full or over time, right? That's what we teach people. We have this thing called a debt roll-up program. And if you master this thing and we teach it, it's simple to learn. That's what we're trying to get to the people. Now, when I look at this, say this money starts freeing up now, right? You're going to have freed up money if we teach you how to do these things. The thing that we have to do is teach you about habits. Because if I don't break the old habit, you're going to be in bigger debt with more money, right? So now I got to teach you how to become your own personal money manager. That's what we're going to teach you today. How to become my own personal money manager so that way you could take control of your money. Because when you look at sports, right? I look at sports, I look at a team. If you ever look at a winning team, don't they have a good coach? Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to lose, like me, I'm trying to lose some lbs, right? And I'm trying to lose weight. If I know that I'm not capable of waking up every morning, as much as you may tell yourself you're not going to do it, after the third week, you're done, right? But with a trainer and a coach there, he said, hey, wake up even when you don't feel like waking up, right? So that's how you're going to stay focused. But how is it the fact that no one ever gave us a coach for our money? Where's the financial coach for your money? Who's coaching your money? Who's teaching your money how to be winning? Your money needs a coach. And if it doesn't, it will never win. Not against inflation, not against taxes. Oh, and you think you could outbeat Uncle Sam and his goons called the IRS? No, you ain't, right? So we teach people these fundamentals of how to do that. So that way they could be in a position to take control. So my question is, which one you guys want? A strong financial coach or a yes man? Which one you guys want? Yes man? Strong financial coach, right? Because I was going to tell you the yes man position is already filled, right? Because the bank tells you yes, swipe it when you need it, right? Even when you overdrive, they say go ahead, swipe it some more, right? Until you max out on the debt that they want you to have, right? So that's what's one of the most important things that we're not going to be. I can't be a yes man. Welcome, Isabel. How you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. So what I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about the first thing is taxes. I think that was the most, what's the word I should use? It is the most misunderstood topic because nobody understands it. But I'm going to break it down in simple terms, right? So if we turn to page 18. Page 18 is going to make it so simple. You're going to be like, wow, even a caveman could do it, right? So let's talk about taxes. Did you know that when you need your money, you get taxed 3 ways? You get taxed now, later, and never. Yes, there's such a thing. Now, let's talk about the now part, right? We're going to break them down one by one. Now, when you're going to get taxed on your money now, it's something called taxable, right? Taxable money. Now, taxable money is where you put your money in a checking, savings account, stocks, mutual funds, and CDs, right? So when you look on page 18 here, what is tax now? Now, tax now means that any earnings on these accounts must pay tax for that year. For example, you must report and pay tax on earnings from savings accounts, certificate of deposits, which are CDs, dividends from stocks, mutual funds, and money market funds, right? Did you guys know that? Now, the fact that we hear people always tell us, buy stocks, right? Do anybody understand that stocks come with risk, right? Is there anything such as a safe stock?
No.
No. And then on top of that, you're going to pay taxes now, right? Now, 85% of people participate in those vehicles. Don't you know everybody have a bank account? Most people have a bank account, right? That's where 85% of people put their money. Now, if 85% of people put their money there, oh, they Uncle Sam winning, right? He's winning. He knows he's going to get the small amounts, but he's getting in bigger chunks because it's the majority, right? So the majority got mad. They said, hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all got us for a fool. We need a better plan. So Uncle Sam said, great. I'll give you another plan, but it's going to require some few things that we're going to talk about. So he created tax later, which is also known as tax deferred. Then you get tax deferred in your 401k, 403bs, 457s, annuities, pensions, IRAs, and SEP IRAs, right? In these vehicles, what are these also known as? Retirement plans, right? All right. So let's talk about what tax later really means. On page 18 again, it says, tax later means the money you put in is pre-taxed. Pre-tax money is deposit in account is the money that you have not yet paid income tax on, but you'll definitely pay tax on it later when you withdraw it. These accounts are also called tax deferred. In the U.S., tax deferred account commonly take the form of IRAs, 401ks, 403bs. Then we'll move down to where it says here in the U.S. Now, in the U.S., when you begin to take money out after 59 and a half, you'll be taxed at ordinary income tax rate. But if you take money out before 59 and a half, you will get a 10% penalty with a few of their exceptions, right? In addition to taxes. Also, you can't keep money there forever. You must withdraw it when you reach 70 and a half, or you will pay a 50% penalty. It is called RMD, Required Minimum Distribution. If you fail to do that, you're going to be taxed. How many baby boomers do you think know that?
Not many.
But look at this, where their money is though. It's in there, right? Pension is one of them. Now let's fast forward. I told you, I'm going to break this thing down, right? Because when we break it down, it's simpler, right? So now let's turn to page 68. Let's talk about what are these retirement plans. On page 68, it talks about retirement plans. And we're going to talk about the two ways that your retirement plan is structured. It says here, retirement plans falls into two basic categories. Defined benefit plans or defined contribution plan. Now, what is a defined benefit plan? It's also known as a traditional pension. It pays retirees specific based on the years of service and salary until they die. In some cases, the payout will continue with a spouse or beneficiary. To put simple, they're called defined benefit because you know what you're going to get out when you retire. Also, this plan is quite costly for employer. Most companies have dramatically scaled back on these plans or eliminate them altogether. So if you're at your job right now and you don't get a pension, now you know why. You know why it's very expensive for these companies? It's because the fact that you have to, nowadays people are living too long, right? We're living too long. And they didn't plan for people to live that long. Because if you look back in the days, the average life expectancy for a man was 55, the highest, right? And woman was about 65. And now we see the lady, you remember that lady went to go visit Barack Obama? How old was she? She was like 109, right? So people are living way longer now. And these things are why. It says here, to put simply, it's called defined benefit plan because you know what you're going to get when you retire, right? So that means this thing's going to pay you all the way up until you die, and then it's going to continue with a spouse. So even if the husband kicked the bucket at 65, the wife going to live to another 100 years, right? So the company's like, oh my God, this is killing me, right? Because we know us men gonna die first. We know that. If any guy that say I'm gonna, it's rare the husband outlive the wife, right? Because the women are living longer, and the company's like, man, we gotta find a game plan to stop that one. That one is hurting our pockets, guys. So they created what's called the defined contribution plan. I like to say one of the fathers of this is called Ted Benner, the guy who created the 401k plan. Now, defined contribution plans are also known as IRS what?
Tax code.
Oh wait, but I thought it was a retirement plan. So it's an IRS tax code. So this IRS tax codes are 401k, 43B. Defined contribution plans allow employees to make pre-tax contribution to their own retirement account. Employers may make matching contribution up to a certain amount. Your employers serve as a plan sponsor. Keywords, sponsor. So what is a sponsor? Someone that endorse you to somebody else, right? And if you read on here, it says, as another company administrates the plan and its investment, the plan administrator is typically a mutual fund company, brokerage firm, and an insurance company. Did you guys see on the top where it says here, you're responsible for your investment by choosing the investment options in the plan? Now, here's my thing. I don't have a problem with choosing my own investments, but how can majority of the people choose their own investment options if they don't have an idea how they even work? That's what makes me mad. Because here's the thing. I wouldn't mind if we could choose our own plan with a knowledge and education on it. Right. But you're giving me to make a choice of investment options. And I don't even know what investment that is. I don't even know what the portfolio of the investment is. I don't even know if it's even a good choice. But you know what? They're going to tell us, yeah, just choose the 2-5s, the top guys. Then 2008 happened, and then the market crashed, and then we lose all the money. And guess what? You go back to them and say, I lost my money. What happened? They said, well, you know, it's risky. You made the choice. So it's not their fault. You made the choice. That's their little loophole to make sure that it's not their fault. It's your fault. Or really, whose fault really is it? It's really theirs. So it says here, these plans are called defined contribution because you know what you put in, but you won't know what you're going to get when you retire due to the market fluctuation. That's the problem. See, I don't have a problem if someone give me all my choices. Because here's what they gave us. They gave us this and this. No one never talks about this side. Unless you're rich. I have many rich friends. Growing up with them from the school I went to. I live in Morris County. Right? And I live near a town named Mountain Lakes. You guys ever heard of Mountain Lakes?
Oh, yeah.
It's a very small town, but it's full of money. Old money. Million years and even a billion years living there. One of my friends, he's the guy, you guys know the razors, right? And when you touch the back of it, sparked up. It was a friend of mine who went to school. He invented that in a science project. I wish I chose that project, but he did. And every day I said, I wish I took that one. And you know, he created it in our school. And now he's a multi-millionaire. His dad was an ex-basketball player, millionaire, and they're all rich over there. Right? You know what's funny? He went to school and he didn't pay for college. The money was already there before he even wanted to go to college because his parents took advantage over here. And I'm going to talk about that. But the reason why people are here, because one, they're going to tax you later on, right? So here's what the game plan is. You're going to start with $100, right? That $100 grow to $100,000. What do you think they're going to tax you on, the 100 or the 100,000?
100,000.
Is that fair?
No.
Oh, and then you're going to wait. So when I'm start taking this money out, you're going to tax me as ordinary income as if I'm working still, but I'm retired. You know, that's why they always talk about when you get older, your age, your tax bracket change. It's a myth. It doesn't happen. There's not taxes have nothing to do with your age. Nothing. It all deals with money. That's it. If you have 100,000, they're gonna tax you off your 100,000 bracket. That's it. Right? So that's the biggest problem. Now here's the crazy part though. It's only 10% of people qualify for that section. Because you have to have a job that will then sponsor you. Right? A job have to sponsor you and enroll you. That's why they have only about 10%, because most people don't stick around long enough in the job to actually get one. Right? It's either you quit too early or they fire you so you don't get it. And if you do get it, they make sure they fire you before you can retire and enjoy it. And then the market happens too where you may lose it. Right? That's such a good plan. Well, let's talk about what the wealthy is using. Tax never. We're going to turn back to page 18 again. Now, in the tax never, they like to call it fancy words that we don't know how to search for. Tax advantages. Who would have ever thought to search tax advantages and learn about it, right? Now, long-term care, municipal bonds, 529 college savings plans, life insurance, and Roths are the vehicles that you get tax advantages in. Now, it says here, tax advantages. Tax advantages mean you generally won't pay tax when you withdraw the money from your account. Tax advantage investment money is after tax money because you have already paid tax on it. Roth IRAs, 529 college savings plan, and TFSA, those are in Canada, and life insurance are popular investment vehicles that get tax exempt distribution. You know what most of us in America have been buying for too many years? It's called death insurance. Because all they talk about is if you die. Don't you hate when those insurance guys come in your house and say, well, you know, you need to get this. Because if you die, your kids, your husband, your mom, your dad, they're all gonna hurt. And then they mess with your emotions. You you even feel like you want to cry from how they talk to you. You're like, you know what? You're so right. How much do I need? They're like, yeah, you need $500,000. And you're sitting there like, that much? You're like, yeah. They're like, how much that cost me? That's gonna cost you about $500 a month. You're like, oh my God, I can't afford that, but you need it. Remember your kids. And then you buy it out of emotions because you got scared. I hate those guys. I don't sell death insurance. Rich people don't buy insurance and think about when they're gonna die. They talk about how can I enjoy it while I'm alive. That's why it's called life insurance, not death insurance. That's another topic. They have something called final expense. They have term insurance. They have whole life. They have all type of insurance. But you got to know which one is the right ones, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. But the first one I'm going to talk about is college planning, right? Because many of us either want to do college planning for ourselves or we want to do college planning for our kids, right? Now, let's turn to page 72. We're going to talk about the 529 college savings plan since it's in this bracket right here where they said tax never and the tax advantages, right? Now, it says here 529 college savings plan. With a 529 savings plan, parents open an account and choose investment option strategy. Once again, we got to choose, right? We're going to have to choose again. The money you put in is after tax money. Potential, keywords, potential accumulated tax-free, and withdrawals can be made tax-free when it's time to pay for college expenses such as tuition, books, rooms, and board. 529 is a state-sponsored college plan, but open to non-residents. Thus, parents can shop around for the best plan to meet their financial goal and needs. However, if your kid decide not to go to college, you can transfer the money to another family member for college. If all your children decide to skip school and become a rock star, the money is subject to regular income taxes plus a 10% penalty on the gains. Plus, you got to remember, please note that the 529 plan affects a family's eligibility for financial aid because it's considered an asset. They didn't say that part, right? They never tell you that part. Because at the end of the day, Uncle Sam is like this. I'm just going to wait. They're gonna mess up. I know they're gonna mess up some way, somehow. I'm gonna collect. So, is that good for your kids? Unless you know, guaranteed that they ain't gonna get no scholarship, right? Because that got to play in there too. And if you have this plus your 401k or a pension, those are things they're gonna ask you for on that FAFSA sheet. And if you have too much money, they're gonna be like, listen, you can pay, you can afford college, but you're looking like, I can't afford it. But they're looking at the numbers. And if the numbers show them that they can, that's all they're going by. They're not going to go by, oh, you have this bill, because what they're going to tell you? Well, you should cut back. All right? How you going to tell me that? So, let's look at the other advantage that they have. This other advantage on page 46. We're going to break down all the different advantages. Now, it says here, tax advantages of life insurance. Under the current Internal Revenue Service, which is the IRS, the guidelines insurance policy receive many favorable tax advantages. Sonia, what's the first one they say there?
Tax-free death benefit.
Tax-free death benefit. That means that if anything was to happen to you in the process of you saving, your tax-free money will go on to the family plus the cash value as well. Right? How about the next one, Miss Lynette?
Tax-deferred earnings.
Tax-deferred earnings. That means the money you put in is already taxed, so anything on the gains don't get taxed. That's good, right? That's good money. What's the next one, Brittany?
Tax-free withdrawals.
Oh, yeah. That's the one we want. When you need the money, you get it tax-free. All right? And the last one, Miss Yvette, what's the last one?
Tax-free loans.
Ooh, tax-free loans. You can't beat it. They didn't tell you about life insurance, did they? No. They made it this evil thing and make you feel like, you know, I always talk to young people, right? I said, man, you need to start saving, and this is the way you need to save. And they said, listen, I ain't dying no time soon, because I ain't going to lie, I'm one of those kids. I think I'm Iron Man, right? Until I got in a car accident in 2012 where I was pinned up against a light post. And they had to cut me out of that car. And let me tell you, that was a wake-up call for me. Because at that time, life got real. I was bedridden for months because I was not able to move, right? These are things that we don't think about until it happened to us. And you know, the one thing I did feel comfortable though when it happened? As it happened, I know my son would have been great because I had coverage, even though I was building the wealth. So I had my income replacement set in place. Even if something was to happen to me, I was good. At least I know my income would be there for the next 10 years. Right? Yes, Daddy wouldn't be here, but Daddy did what was right. Right? But I survived. So now I'm still growing the wealth. Right? Because I'm putting this bad boy to work. All right? I'm going to treat it what it really is. It's about how I could use it while I'm alive. So just to give you a deeper understanding about that, if we turn to page 39. Good stuff so far? A lot of information, right? Yeah. This is the information they don't want you to know.
I have a question. What about for the school, right? Let's say my son got a scholarship and I'm doing the 529. They're going to have to know? I mean, can I still pretend I'm paying for the college?
With the 529?
Yeah.
With the scholarship?
Yeah.
The scholarship is going to be public.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And when you try to use the 529, the college is going to be saying the money's already there. There's a scholarship there.
But I'm saying, I mean, it's cash money. Can I just take the money out the bank and pretend I'm paying for school?
Oh, you can do whatever you please, but that sounds like it's illegal. So if you fail to use it for anything other than school, you're subject to a 10% penalty, and on top of that, pay as ordinary income tax.
Okay.
All right?
I guess I can't do that.
So if you do that, just know you're going to be paying them circumstances what will come with it, right? And then you don't want to play the IRS because they charge you in doubles. They don't hit you with what you thought you got away with. They hit you with a double. So let's talk about what's called the universal life. Anybody ever heard of universal life before? Well, it's a big difference between universal life and whole life. And it's its flexibility. You can change your premium. And you can pay more one month or less the next. Sometimes when you're faced with money problems, you can even skip a few months payments as long as you have the cash value inside the policy, which will be enough for the cost of insurance, right? That's one of the greatest things that's never been told. And that's what people want, flexibility, right? We understand that hard times could come. We understand that things could happen to us. But you know what? We got to have something in place still, right? So now let's talk about the upgraded version. You guys remember the Nokia phones with the green screen, right? Now, how many of you guys know iPhones now, right? iPhones, the Galaxies, those are upgrades, right? So the same thing with the universal life. They've upgraded. And let's talk about how much they have upgraded and how is that really powerful today. And many people don't talk about it. Now, the index universal life is a fast-growing product due to its index strategy. Since it's a UL, which is a universal life, it has all its flexible features. The key part of this product is the cash value is based on a certain index, such as the S&P 500. The investor is not directly invested into the index. Instead, the cash value inside the policy is credited with a return basis on the performance of the index. So you can earn growth based on the index, but up to a certain ceiling maximum, which is called a cap. For example, it will be 13% for this example as a cap. However, if the index drops, your money, you have the safety that you won't go lower than the minimum floor, for example, 0%. So if the S&P 500 dropped 20 negative, and you will get 0% interest. The minimum floor, which means your cash value doesn't lose any money during the down market. And if it gains 15%, you can only get 13% return off the maximum cap. That's awesome, isn't it? Better than the 401k. All right? Because you know what? They'll have no age restrictions. You can put money there. Have access to money. Tax-free withdrawals, tax-free loans. You know what I just teach you what it to become? What does that sound like? The bank, right? That's what we're teaching people. How to become their own banks. Alright? Because here's the thing. What if I told you that we have access to companies that give you 15% as a cap and even 0.75% as a floor? Not bad, right? Here's some other spreads. How about the fact that the S&P 500 I've done 8.01% in over 20 years. And then the global I've done 8.64% in 20 years. Which one you want to put your money in? Global. That's what people need options to. Choices. You know that with us, we represent over 200 companies. Some of the top companies like BlackRock's, Nationwide, the Prudential, the Voyers, which is formerly known as ING. These are some of the companies that we're giving our clients access to, platinum companies, right? AAA rating companies. And that's what people need access to. They need access to Ferraris, even though they've been having access to Toyotas. You know, I always say, don't tell me that I need a Toyota when I can drive a Ferrari. That's what people need, Ferraris, when it comes to our money. So, the only bad thing about this now, they will have to be in something, right? The only bad thing about this section about having tax advantages is the fact that it requires people to qualify, right? That's the only thing. It's the qualifications that you have to go through to be able to get one of them, right? Because it's either you have to do a medical or a physical or some form of things like that. Well, your credit score won't hurt you. That's the good thing. But it's just a matter of qualifying. That's what the only thing is. And what they've done in the industry is this. When you finally hear about something like this, they wait till when you get older, where the cost of insurance get expensive, right? And then they don't tell you about it when you're younger, when it's cheaper, and you can actually save more, compound your money, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to get people while they can, and get everybody an opportunity to see if they qualify. Because there's no guarantee. I can't guarantee anything. The only thing I can guarantee is an opportunity to see if you qualify. That's it, right? But before we talk about that, where would you want to put your money? You want to put it in now, tax later, or never? Where do you see yourself? Never? Who said never?
I do.
All right, I'm glad I'm talking to the right crowd. Raymond got 2 hands up. All right? Tax never. But you see, to get to tax never, we have to understand how to budget. Because if you don't know how to budget your money, you can't save it. So I said budgeting is so simple. So simple, but it's so complicated when people try to teach you how to budget, right? They pull out the spreadsheet. And then you try to put everything on that spreadsheet, and you miss one thing, and you're like, oh my God, my life is over. You just throw the spreadsheet away. You're like, man, screw this thing. It sucks, right? But no, it's actually easier. How about the 50-20-30 rule? Ever heard of this rule before? Simple. What it says is 50% of your income go towards the bills. 20% of your income go towards the savings, so that way 30% could be left for spending money. Now, when you break it down, what is spending money? 50%. I meant bills. Things like your mortgage, rent, utilities, insurance, food, and living expenses. Those are your 50%. When you look at your 20%, financial goals. What you want to save towards. It could be paying off a debt. It could be paying towards extra money for retirement. Or you're spending money. You know, you could want some entertainment, hobbies, travel, dining out, yoga classes if that's what you're into, and some clothes.
What's wrong with yoga?
I like yoga. Yoga is cool. All right, yoga makes you stretch. All right.
It's the way you said it.
I'm just saying, I'm probably the only guy here that hasn't done yoga. You did yoga? All right, good. 2 of us. It's very rare you find the guy that says, yeah, me too. All right. So that's when you break it down. Now, just to put numbers behind it, right? Let's just say that you had an income on a monthly basis of $3,000 a month, right? And you want to use the 50%, 20%, 30% formula. Now that 50% of 3,000 is 1,500, right? 20% is 600, and then 30%, that is 900, right? Now, let's just say that 50% of your income did not take care of your entire bills, right? Which one would you take it from? Would you take it from the savings or come back on spending?
Go back on spending.
Go back on the spending, right? So then you would circle that bad boy and you transfer it up there. Now you have 80%. 80% of your income taking care of the bills. Now let's just say 80% still don't take care of the bills. What do you do? I'm going to tell you what you do. Turn to page 8, right? Right where it says here, you got to pay yourself, right? 5 to 10%. Exactly. So you'll take some from the savings and you will put it where you could save 5 to 10% of your income. So that way you can apply another 10% to the bill. That's 90%, right? Now, that's still good. Because if you could save 5 to 10% of your income, you can keep up with inflation, right? And inflation, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But let's talk about how you pay yourself first. You need to set aside at least 5 to 10% of your income to save for the future. If possible, save 15% or more. Treat it like a bill that you must pay and pay it first. That's your family's financial bill. Doesn't it make sense to pay your family first before paying other people's bills? Your cable bill is not more important than your family's financial well-being. So in order for you to be in a position to do that, you got to start doing what? Making small changes so that way you can have big money. What are these small changes? You need to put yourself in a position where spending is no longer will be a habit, and then you create one. It's called saving. Right? You need to create a saving habit. Because here's the thing. What if you could just make that small changes and start change your spending habit and start a saving habit and start saving $10 a day? That's $300 a month. If you was in a position to start saving $300 a month, getting 8% rate of return on your money, in 30 years you will have $447,107. And if you could have saved $20, which would be $600 at 8%, you will now have $894,214. Which one of those you want? The 400 or the 800? Who choose 800? Who choose the 4? You know, some people are modest, like, I don't want that much. I'm good with 4. Right? The reason why we don't see this money now, and we may look at this as a difficult task, is because we spend the money already. They got us with all these commercials. How many guys like Starbucks coffee? How about Dunkin' Donuts? Who eat out for lunch? Oh, look at them hands. Right? How many guys have kids here? I'm not there, right? You ever hear when you're driving past McDonald's and it's like, can I have a kids meal? Right? They get us. I'm telling you. And if you have 2 in that car, you know how much that is already. Right? That's almost $10 already. Right? I tell you, grandkids, my son be raping my mother when she come up. He don't get away with that with me. Right? I know the rules. Right? So we are spending this money already in small increments. Right? That's why it may seem difficult for many of us to see this and say, I can accomplish this. But if you really buckle down and really say, let me get serious with my finances and say, I'm going to actually plan some things out, you can do it. You can do it. You'll be surprised. Or at least, by bare minimum, do the 50-20-30 rule with your income every week. Don't wait a month. Because if you wait a month, you have 3 weeks to mess up. Right? And then you try to crunch everything on the last week. Right? Do it every week when you get paid. Do this, create 3 folders or 3 envelopes and write 50, 20, 30 on there and split up the money. And you'll find yourself have more money that way. Because when you see how the money's divided, you now know where to pull the money from. Right? And make things work. So one of the other things that's been killing us, just so we talk about it, what's stopping us, it's on page 14. And this bad boy is called inflation. It's the silent killer. Now, inflation is the rise in prices for goods and services over time. When price increase, your purchasing power decreases. For example, if the inflation rate is 3.5%, your $100 today will be worth $96.50 the next year. So inflation happens when a country prints more money than it earns. The result is that everybody will lose some value on their money. Some refer to inflation as the hidden tax. Inflation is a major factor to consider when you're building your financial future. For instance, if you put money in an account with a 0 rate of return, its value will certainly decline in the long run. In the last 100 years, from 1914 to 2014, the U.S. inflation rate averaged 3.32%. So, do anybody know what the bank's giving us on our money today?
Less than 1%.
Woo! But if inflation is at 3.32%, and 85% of people put their money in the bank, now you see why we're living paycheck to paycheck? It's not that you're not working hard enough. It's not that you're not making enough. It's the fact that we can't keep up with what things cost today. That's what's killing us today. Right? So that's one of the reasons why we want to put people in a position to get better. So now let's talk about the rule of 72. If you flip back to page 11. The rule of 72. It is the rate of return, the magic of compound interest. This was created by Albert Einstein. One of the greatest math magician, I call him, in the world. Albert Einstein said, if you take 72 and you divide it by whatever interest you make on your money, that equals the years it takes for money to double. Right? That's what the rule of 72 is. Now let's talk about what some different interest is. Now we already disclosed that the bank gave us less than 1%, right? Now let's just say that the bank gave us 1%. They were nice. All right? Now you take 72 divided by 1. That equals 72. So that means it would take 72 years for your $100 to become $200. Do you have 72 years to wait? Now, that's if they gave you 1%. If it's less than 1%, can you imagine the years? If you ever want to know what your bank rate is on the interest on your bank, go to bankrate.com. Right? Bankrate.com and search your bank. It will tell you exactly what interest you're getting on your money. Now let's talk about credit cards. We all got those plastic things in our wallets. Right? Now, they said the average interest rate on a credit card is 18%. I'm still trying to figure out where that is. Because the last time we checked, our interest on our credit card is
24.
20s and up. Right? Well, let's just be nice. We're only going to talk about 18 today. 72 divided by 18 equals 4 years. That means the money will double against you every 4 years, hypothetically. Right? Now, let's just say life happened. You had to max out the card. $500 you spent. Within 4 years, you didn't pay a penny of that $500. Automatically becomes $500 if you didn't pay a penny of it. I mean, $1,000. Right? Now, that's if they were compounding you within annually. Because they got smart over the years. And this is what the bank said. They're going to charge you interest on every purchase now. Right? Because people used to outsmart them, you know. People will max out the card, wait till the very last year before they know, and then they pay it off. Right? They were in no rush to pay it off. And they said, okay, you got us there. We're going to change it up on y'all. And every purchase you make, there's an interest on it. And now they're trying to be nice, and they try to say, oh, you could earn reward points or cash backs. You think those incentives, now they encouraging you to spend. Right? I'm going to spend 1,000 just to get 100 back. Really? And you know what? A lot of people fall into it. You know the only time I use those bad boys is if I'm traveling. Because I know I'm going to pay that travel later. Right? I know I'm going to pay my car insurance. I use that for that. These are things I know I have to pay back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have the money regardless. Right? Don't use your credit cards for things that we don't need to be spending them on. Right? We got to use our credit card wisely. There's a way to build credit the right way, but still don't put ourselves in debt. Right?
So you suggest using it for like a revolving bill, like your car insurance? Something that you actually have to do.
Right. Because the thing is, you're going to always have to pay that bill. Right? But if you start using the credit card to go shopping, you're going to look at that bill and say, I'll pay it off the minimum. Right. And that's where they got you in the cycle right there. Because when you start paying the minimum versus the interest, now we learn what the ruler said. Go to your bank. You want to put this bad boy to the test? Go to your bank and ask the bank teller, do you know what the rule of 72 is? We had a banker in here Tuesday night, right? And I was like, do you know what the rule of 72 is? He's like, I heard of it before. And I'm like, but I'm putting my money with you guys? No way. You don't know what the rule of 72 is? But they will sell you on the savings account, all these different things, right? And what I told you, you're going to be there here. Tax now and little interest. I always say it's a business, right? But it's our money that's in that business. So let's talk about investment, right? If you was able to get, like I talk about it, 8 to 15%. Those are the ranges that you're looking for. 8 to 15%. Now, if you could get 8 to 15%, then let's talk about 8% first. 72 divided by 8 equals 9. So that means the money will be doubling every 9 years for you. If you save $9,000 one time, within 9 years, it will become $2,000. My question is, which one you want? You want to wait 9 years or 72 years? Which one's better? 9 years. Okay, if you look at the example on page 11, and it talks about 4%, 8%, 12%, just to give you an idea, which one looks better, the 4, the 8, or 12? 12%. So now we learned that it's not so much about what you make or even what you keep. It's the amount of interest you make on what you decide to keep. That was the secret to building wealth. It's the interest on the money, right? And that's why we have these big brokerage firms that don't want to play with small money because they can't get management fees off small money. What is 1% of one? It's nothing, all right? So they want you to have $250,000 liquid, so at least they get 1% of that, right? They want to actually play with that money. But who's playing with the guy that have $100 and said, listen, man, I could save 50 of that 100? Who's playing with his money? And better yet, give him safety, giving him the opportunity to earn bigger interest on it. And when he needs it, he gets it back tax-free. Who's talking to him about that? Nobody. That's where we come in. Because one of the things that we're doing right now, we're looking for more campaigners. We're looking for more financial coaches. We need more people to teach this to. Because I'm pretty sure you guys can think about 5 people in the back of your head right now that you know who don't know this. And who needs it. And then to make it even better, you notice it was from a book. That's why they always say, if you ever want to hide a secret, put it in a book. I heard that as a kid, and I never looked at a book the same ever again. I was at a friend's house, and his father came home. We were playing video games all day. And his dad came home, and I know he was mad, because, you know, as an adult, you go to work, you come back, you see us in the same spot, and you're looking like, yo, these kids been running up my light bill this whole day, right? And this man said to me, you want to hear a joke? And I said, sure, why not? He was like, where do you hide a secret from? And he said, black people. And he's like, and I was like, I don't know. He was like, put it in a book, because you won't ever read it. You guys would sit here and play video games all day. And I got mad. I walked out of the house. I was like, yo, your dad's racist. Right? He's like, no, he ain't. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, bro, think about it. We ain't done nothing all day but play video games. He's probably mad. I'm probably grounded now. All right? So I'm walking home. I was like, man, you racist too. I'm out. And I'm walking home, and I went to my mom, and I said the same thing to her. And she said to me, good. You should thank him that he told you that. Because he's right. We don't read books. And if we do read books, it's nothing that's going to give us the tools to get rich and wealthy. The American dream is not with working. The American dream is in books. Anything that you want to do, there's a book out there that tells you how to do it. Anything. You want to lose weight fast? There's a book that will tell you. You want to learn how to be the greatest person in the world? There's a self-development book out there. Right? That's what we're trying to give people. See, we know a lot of people won't read this on their own. Come to workshop. We'll help you read it. Because you know what? After you go to workshop, I know you're intrigued. You want to read it more now, right? Yes. That's the whole thing. I always say intrigue people and give them information. Now, put away your checkbooks. There's nothing to buy. All right? There's no cat out of the hat that's going to spring on you, okay? The only thing that we ask and we're looking for more campaigners. We're looking to help more people. Our workshops are completely free. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. we have them here, and we have them on Saturday at 10 a.m. Now, let's just say, for instance, you cannot make it to our office. We will also give you what's called a virtual access. So that way you can have access to this either through a laptop, a phone, or a portable device, and all these different accessories, right? If you're out of state, you hear folks, they're coming on, right? You have access to this thing in any way. And that's one of the greatest thing our company is doing, because we're really serious about helping these families, right? So what I would love for you guys to do, I'll ask you guys to just fill out a survey, one of our survey sheet here, and tell me how I yell too loud and how crazy I am, right? And just let us know how we can help you. And if you decide that you want to become one of our campaigners, we talk about those opportunities as well. And one of the things that I also wanted to disclose, we actually go into Atlanta in January, where we'll be celebrating all the campaigners, right? We're actually, coach is saying that let's get 300 down there. We want to bring 300 people with us to Atlanta, so that way we could celebrate them for being hard workers. And coach is actually saying, what do you say, champagne for the campaigners, right? And he's actually going to treat us to a real big dinner down in Atlanta. I think it's in the aquarium or something like that, one of the biggest places in Atlanta. We're actually going to shut it down. So there's going to be over 40,000 of us down there, right? Yeah, we're going to shut down Atlanta. You see how we do when we went to New Orleans. We shut it down. It was our day, right? You looked on the streets, there was WSB banners all throughout New Orleans, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to shut down Atlanta. And then after that, we're going to Vietnam. We're going to shut down Vietnam, all right? And we're going to go there and have some good times. So thank you guys for having me as usual. I appreciate you all. And like I said, keep on doing a great job. And I'm very proud of everybody tonight. You guys are really doing some amazing things. And we really appreciate your hard work and efforts. All right? So thank you guys. Appreciate it.